Welcome to another MOTIVICTOR production. I'm your regular narrator, Victor Isibo. The British observed from afar, with envy and jealousy, the sheer greatness of the Great Benin Kingdom, the elegance of its monarch, the rich culture and tradition, the loyalty and patriotism of its people, the sheer wealth and vast human and natural resources in the land, the influence and power of the city. They just couldn't fathom it. So they thought to themselves, since we cannot find the formula to such greatness, let's just destroy it and steal whatever that is left. You might be wondering, why did the British invade Benin in 1897 unprovoked? Why did they do it? The late Alaafin of Oyo in this clip has answers. So just sit back, relax, and listen to what he has to say.
British came into Benin. They met what they never bargained for. They met a culture of civility, a culture and an orderly government. They met wonderful heart, and the artifact they met that we are in some cases superior to what they had in their own country, and they became peeved and jealous to the extent that they made up their mind that that kingdom will never survive. They went back, and then when they wanted to see the Oba very briefly, they said the Oba was not prepared to receive them. They became annoyed, went back to reorganize an invasion of that empire and the monarchy. What they did was to wipe out entirely the system, and if possible that system would never survive. But the people fought with their lives. During that exercise, the Oba, the OVORAMEN, was captured and exiled to Calabar, where he died. Everything they made, every effort they made to wipe out the system failed because of the intrinsic viability of that culture. It is an enduring culture, and that made the African race to be very proud of the Benin Empire. That they tried that they made this culture survive, and the system of succession and the system of government, the monarchy, survive up to today. Is to the glory and to the fact that that system has intrinsic viability that made it to be resilient against outside invasion and outside interpolation.
So in 1897, the British government, motivated by sheer greed and envy, decided to attack the Great Benin Kingdom. They stole expensive artifacts, elephant tusks, coral bits, and the desecrated sacred altars, burned down the city. In spite of their superiority in terms of ammunitions, they literally brought guns and explosives to attack local soldiers who only had swords and spears. They were met with stiff resistance from brave Benin soldiers who fought till their last breath in an exemplary show of loyalty and patriotism. The British succeeded in unseating the then OBA OVORAMEN, and they exiled him to Calabar. But what they failed to do was to kill the rich Benin tradition and culture that still endures till this day. The 1897 invasion even went further to put Benin City on the global map. An ancient African kingdom so rich in culture and human resources that the almighty Britain couldn't help but envy and steal from. This video is however dedicated to celebrate the Benin heroes who defended their kingdom and laid down their lives. Before talking about our heroes, let's take some time to talk about the major villain in this story. This is Sir Ralph Moore. He was the British High Commissioner who planned and executed the 1897 Benin massacre. He also burned down the towns of Arochukwu, Efunu, Agbaroto, Uromi, and many other towns. As karma would have it, the OBA OVORAMEN, whom he deposed and sent on exile, outlived him. Ralph Moore became very sick in 1903, immediately after leaving Africa upon his retirement at the age of 43. He is said to have suffered from malaria and backwater fever that induced insomnia and temporary insanity in him. Till 1909, when he took his own life with cyanide at the age of 49. Ralph Novie Moore wale wiwao. R.I.P. Sir Ralph Moore. We will never forget you. Now to our Great Benin heroes. The first one I would talk about is General ASORO. ASORO was an Omada, a scepter bearer for the Oba. As the war became intense and the British soldiers were getting closer and approaching the palace, ASORO volunteered to abandon his Omada duties to join in the war. He ruggedly defended the palace against British soldiers for several days from the spot where his statue stands today. He stood there, the British bullets bouncing off his body as a result of his African bulletproof, while he killed many of them with his spears. He famously said, and I quote, which means nobody trespasses beyond this spot except the Oba. That is how that very road has come to be known today as Sakmoba Road. He killed so many British soldiers, and he was invincible for many days, till the British, who were unable to detect the secret behind his invincibility, they bribed some of the locals, who eventually betrayed him by leaking to the British the secret of his talisman. Eventually, the British succeeded to kill ASORO. To commemorate ASORO's contributions in defending his fatherland against British invaders, a statue of him was erected in his honor, symbolizing a salute to patriotism, gallantry, and loyalty. The statue depicts ASORO standing tall and victorious over the British forces. The historic statue is located within Oba OVORAMEN Square, Benin City, at the beginning of Sakmoba Road. According to history, that was the very spot ASORO died. Ohiariave Edionikao, General ASORO, we will never forget you. How can we ever forget Chief Obasogie? Chief Obasogie is another remarkable historical figure from the Benin invasion story that the Beninese will not forget in a hurry. An outstanding Benin warrior and revered palace chief, Chief Obasogie was one of the Benin heroes who gallantly resisted the British forces and local allies during the bloody Benin invasion and massacre of 1897. Chief Obasogie was not just a palace chief and warrior. He was also a seasoned blacksmith and sculptor. Most of his designs and works can be found in and around the city. The architectural design of the chief's house, which sits magnificently opposite the popular Bureau de Change market called Area, leaves much to say about this warlord. According to oral history, the multifaceted chief, being a blacksmith, expedited the fabrication of a sizable number of weapons used by Benin warriors during the invasion. Although the British eventually ransacked Benin Kingdom and confiscated the weapon factory, leading to short supply of arms to the indefatigable Benin warriors, which contributed greatly to the eventual capture of the city. Chief Obasogie's contribution as both a war chief and a blacksmith remains a significant achievement, and it is forever etched in Benin history. Ohiariave Edionikao, Chief Obasogie, we will never forget you. This video would not be complete without me mentioning General Ebohimi. General Ebohimi is another remarkable historical figure from the Benin invasion story that the Beninese will not forget in a hurry. A gallant and resolute warrior, General Ebohimi led other warriors in vehemently resisting the goal of the British to conquer Benin Kingdom. During the siege on Benin, as the white invaders advanced towards the revered palace of the Oba of Benin, General Ebohimi and his men kept them at bay for days. The rugged general fought till he drew his last breath. According to oral history, it was said that General Ebohimi died while standing on his feet, and his corpse had to be uprooted and brought down. Can you imagine? Somebody was dead, but he was still standing. The Beninese say, death does not kill you on your feet. Apparently, General Ebohimi is an exception to that rule. Although the British eventually ransacked Benin Kingdom, General Ebohimi's contribution as a tactical defense warrior remains a significant achievement, and it is forever etched in Benin history. To commemorate his contributions in defending his fatherland against British invaders, a statue of him was erected in his honor. Ohiariave Edionikao, General Ebohimi, we will never forget you. How can I forget Chief Agbonkokon, the Obayuwana of Benin Kingdom? He was one of the other numerous warlords who opposed the infamous invasion of 1897 with their blood in defense of the territorial sovereignty of their fatherland. An avid hater of oppression and intimidation, Chief Agbonkokon was always at the forefront of any cause that advanced the pride of Benin Kingdom. In January 1897, when Captain James Phillips, the acting Consul General of the Niger Coast Protectorate, and others arrogantly bullied their way into Benin Kingdom, Chief Agbonkokon was there to vehemently accost him, and in his company were Chief Irabo, the Ologbosere of Benin Kingdom, amongst others. After the fall of Benin Kingdom in February 1897, Chief Agbonkokon was forcefully captured by the British forces. Amongst other allegations, he was directly accused of killing Captain James Phillips and others, and was remanded in the stockade, waiting to be executed after summarily tried and convicted by the British Kangaroo Court. The dogged war chief, knowing his fate was sealed, courageously took his own life in the stockade rather than die at the hands of the white men. For him, execution by hanging was not going to be an option. He would rather take his own life. Ohiariave Edionikao, Chief Agbonkokon, we would never forget you. How can I forget to mention Chief Irabo Ologbosere? For a couple of years after the British Army decimated Benin, the Edo chief turned general and warlord, Irabo Ologbosere, alongside Chief Oviawe, Chief Ebohon, led a 2-year guerrilla war of resistance against the British from 1897 to 1899. Ologbosere added a new dimension to the combat by moving loyal troops outside the city, from where he launched a barrage of attacks on British outposts. He and his guerrilla fighters hid among villages and towns that supported the Edo resistant forces. The British expedition retaliated with bloody ferocity. British troops burned these supportive locations, destroyed villagers' crops, detained their youths, and incarcerated their rulers. Weary of these heavy reprisals, some villagers betrayed Chief Ologbosere and delivered him to the hands of the British troops. They were tired of having their crops and their farms and their buildings destroyed because they were harboring Ologbosere. The arrest of Chief Ologbosere and other fighters, including Chief Ebohon, did not quell the anti-British campaigns. It further drove the fighters underground, who further escalated the conflict. In May 1899, the British captured Chief Ologbosere. He was found guilty by a kangaroo court of being the chief instigator and perpetrator of the so-called Benin Mutiny, which led to the murder of Captain Phillips and others. About 8 a.m. on June 27, 1899, General Ologbosere was executed by hanging. General Ologbosere was one of the right-hand men and chief of OBA OVORAMEN Nogbaisi. His dogged loyalty to crown and country cannot be overemphasized. Ohiariave Edionikao, Chief Irabo Ologbosere, we will never forget you. There were so many other heroes who lost their lives during this invasion that time will not permit me to mention. To all those who lost their lives and loved ones during the invasion 1897, you will never be forgotten. Ohiariave Edion Nikaro. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, give this video a like and share this video with anybody who loves history. And please subscribe because there is more from where this came. I remain Victor Esibo. I will see you in the next one. Until then, it is bye-bye.